My earliest memories growing up are in a military family. My father was in the Army, and so we traveled a lot. My parents wanted the highest for us, so my sister and I, we integrated a Catholic school in Miami, Florida. I remember having this feeling that something just wasn't right because we had to be interviewed in order to go to this school. You know, in reflection, it was like they had to see if we was really good Black children to be in that space. But I also remember this feeling of uncomfortableness, like, what does God care about what color I am? That was the journey, I think. That was the beginning. I grew up in this space of being the peacemaker. It was April 4th, 2018, when I got this phone call. Like, hi, Melannie, this is Tom Heavey from the Greater Tacoma Peace Prize. I'm calling to ask you if you would be willing to accept the title and the honor of being the Greater Tacoma Peace Laureate. Now, I'm driving and screaming in the car, oh my God! And I was like, oh my God, I gotta pull over. And I'm reading and, oh, yes, yes, yes. He asked me if I was available on May 17th, which is this annual Norwegian day, Cinta de Mai, if I would be in that parade. And then he asked if I would be available to attend the Nobel Peace Prize ceremonies. Yes to everything. But more specifically, I was thinking, ooh, I could practice my princess wave. I am extremely fortunate to have grown up in the South Sound, in Lakewood, in Tacoma. I grew up with people from every background I can think of. But what I knew then, because of my leadership role in school, that I was destined to do something that would bring people together. Martin Luther King, one of the quotes that I know from him is that your quality of life is built by how you serve the masses of the people, not just the individual thing. Here in the South Sound, that's my brand. People know me for helping somebody.
The Greater Tacoma Peace Prize is an opportunity to recognize members of the Tacoma community who are doing marvelous things for peace. When we first reviewed Melannie's nomination, put forth by some friends of hers, we recognized the Martin Luther King Day celebration that the city of Tacoma has every year. Lo and behold, it's because of Melannie's work.
All we need is love. Make up your mind, my friends, to live purposely. Love thy neighbor. God bless. I am the founder and creator of the People's Gathering, which is a conference to teach people how to talk about race. Put it in our minds today. The effects of racism permeates every fiber in the fabric of our nation's existence. Generations were raised under the racist system. It was not one we chose, it is one we inherited, and it is one that we can absolutely reject.
After that shooting in Charleston, South Carolina, Melannie brought in the granddaughter of the pastor who died in that for her Hate Won't Win campaign. The Greater Tacoma Peace Prize isn't to recognize somebody for a single event or something. It's for a body of work. And that's what we saw with Melannie.
Got a chance to actually attend and have a seat in the room at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. Do you realize what that means? There's 1,000 seats in that room, and me and my +1 Jewel, we was 2 in 1,000.
I'm associated with Melannie because of our longtime sisterhood. She sat in one of my workshops years ago, and we reconnected because of social media. And when she realized that she was gifted this awesome experience, she felt like I would be the person that would totally get the significance of this trip I'm not surprised that she got this award because of her awesome contributions to the community.
Winning the Greater Tacoma Peace Prize was really the cherry on top of life. It was an affirmation that, girl, your work is good. I'm hoping that when you leave here this evening, you made a new friend, cross-culture, and you have recommitted yourself to the struggle. You know why? Because the struggle is real. God bless you. I love Tacoma, Lakewood, the 253, and everything in it. When I travel and I tell people that I'm from Tacoma, then the first thing, at least black people, what they say is, they got black people in Washington? They got black people in Tacoma? And I say, yeah, I'm representing. And then I think about it, I went all the way to Norway and represented. This is Melannie, Denise Cunningham, your Peace Queen and the posse, and we are on our way to Oslo today. We are out of here. Being in Oslo, it reminded me of home. No wonder there's so many Norwegians in Tacoma. As the laureate, they laid out the red carpet for me. I got a chance to meet with some of the leading peace researchers in the world. I visited the Nobel Peace Institute. That is the place where the decisions to choose the Nobel Peace Prize winners are made. So imagine, South Sound girl in the room on this world stage. Got a chance to see the table where they make the decisions and also go in the room where they make the announcements and talking to the head person, Olaf. He told me that what I was doing is really how peace was made. He said, peace is made from the ground up. And what you're doing, Melannie, is how it's done. Being in the Nobel Peace Center, that was the business.
I'm going to give you a very short run-through of the history of the Nobel Peace Prize. Alfred Nobel had his breakthrough in 1866 when he invented dynamite. He intended it for it to be used in construction projects, but it didn't take very long before it was used for military purposes. He wrote in a few lines that his fortune should be invested, a fund should be created in order to give out 5 prizes every year. So there are 4 prizes in Sweden, for physics, chemistry, medicine, and literature. And then there is 1 prize here in Oslo, Norway, and that's the Peace Prize. This is Henri Dunant from Switzerland. He received the very first Nobel Peace Prize in 1901 for creating the Red Cross. And there's really a before and an after. Before 1960, it's mostly white men from Europe and the US. But since 1960, there have been more and more nationalities, and also when it comes to the number of women, it's been rising ever since. When King came to Oslo to receive the Nobel Peace Prize, he said that the prize to Luthuli 4 years earlier had opened the door for him. So they were also aware that things were really changing back in the 60s.
I wasn't in a cemetery, but I felt the vibe of the spirits in there and the spirits of greatness.
I had no idea how it was going to affect my heart, my spirit, my soul. So to see these people who have contributed to humanity through their service was heartwarming, was so soul-stirring.
And here is Martin Luther King. Okay, so nonviolence is a powerful and just weapon. Indeed, it is a weapon unique in history, which cuts without wounding. Yes.
Cuts without wounding.
Oh my God.
I love that.
And see, he's my legacy. And to be able to stand here, I'm sitting here, I'm about to cry. Because it's really just now sinking in. I just feel like Dr. King is watching over me now in the I would say, the highest moment of my life where it's on show, on parade. Dr. King is all around it. They called me on the 50th anniversary of his assassination to offer me the Peace Prize. And I asked them, well, who is the most popular Nobel laureate? And when you know,
Martin Luther King is still one of the most popular ones worldwide.
because that's the first time that I realized that peace is also a science and that people are researching it. What is peace? I asked them. And then what I found out is that really is a difficult question for many people to answer. So I've got a fundamental question for you. How do you define peace?
How do we define peace? That's a hard one. The minimal definition of peace is the absence of violent conflict. But peace is, of course, much broader than that. What's the basis for why people and how people can live peacefully together, not only without ending up in violent fights, but how they can work together in order to improve human rights for everyone, to develop ways of communicating and living together that brings out the synergies in collaboration between individuals and groups. And that's a much, much larger issue.
I think it is to respect every human being for what they are, in spite of differences in skin color, difference in religious, cultures, background, all these different things, and to see that this pluralism of cultures and religions really is something that make our lives more interesting, more prosperous, so we can celebrate these differences in a way. This is peace.
One of the coolest parts of the trip was going to Lillehammer, to the Nansen Center for Peace and Dialogue. Dialogue enhances relationships in the community and strengthens the social fabric. So I'm thinking the Peace Queen needs to go check this place out.
This is a library on the Nansen Academy, and my role is to be the director of the Nansen Center for Peace and Dialogue.
What have you learned in this job that you can share about peace and conflict?
There are many complex definitions of it. But what I will say that peace is not only the absence of conflict. Peace is the integration of all humanity, women, men, minorities, everyone contributing to solve the problems of humanity, and integration of everyone.
Dialogue is more than words. What is the next step? And you can say that in my understanding, peace is to establish a society where all citizens have equal possibilities for living a good life. And of course, when you have ethnic conflict and you have a majority and a minority, you see that democracy has a weakness. It gives the majority the power, and because we the people are self-righteous, the majority also believes they're right. And when the people that believe they're right have the power, it's not good for the minority, who is then defined as being wrong.
Now that's my friend Steiner. And he of all people knows about peace because he and his team and his work, they've been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize 7 times. That in itself was phenomenal. And then I asked him, what does this all have in common?
It takes time. It's not so much what I say. It's not even what I do, but it's that I never gave up.
I have a simple solution for peace building, and I just wonder why more people don't follow this. Can we just hug it out? And thank you for everything that you do and continue to do.
And same to you. Keep it up.
Yes. When they told me that I was going to Norway, you got to get in my mindset here. I have never in my life wanted to go to Norway. It was not on my bucket list. I've been to Africa 22 times, So Norway was not there. But then I thought, maybe they got Black people in Norway, and I want to find them. Greetings, Lisa. My name is Melannie Denise Cunningham. I asked the Greater Tacoma Peace Prize Committee to do some digging to help me connect with Black people and other people of color during my visit. This is the context in which your name was presented to me. Our collective work is so important. I hope we can journey together. Please advise. Peace and blessings. The first thing I said to the organizers was, I need to meet some Black people. But then they gave me your name. It's like, oh, we got one Black person.
I can say I don't really feel Norwegian, you know? I understand them, I love them. I don't think that's a problem. But then I also have the challenge when I go to the States. I don't feel American anymore because I don't know what these people are talking about.
You know? Don't get me started on that. What about your kids?
I have 2 boys. The oldest had a little bit of a hard time. We live in an area that was not very integrated. I mean, we were like the first brown people. And he had a hard time. He wanted to have blonde hair and blue eyes. But he sort of paved the way for his little brother. His older brother was the one that probably bears most of the scars of trying to integrate.
Now, in America, being a mother of Black boys, you know, you worry if they're gonna come home or they'll make it home because of the stigmas that the American society has placed on them as Black men. Do you have those same worries as a mother here in Norway about your Black sons?
My oldest son, he spent a year in Peachtree City, Georgia, going to high school, living with my father. And that's when I had to have the real conversation with him that, you know, this will be a totally different experience. You'll have conversations and you'll be called things and asked things that you will really not know how to maneuver. And that was a bit strange and a little hard for him, but he understands it completely. But in Norway, that's actually an interesting question because I don't think I have that same problem.
I was looking for Black men in Norway. I wanted to know, what is their life like? And lo and behold, I found a Black male rapper.
The feeling you feeling when you accomplish something, create something new. People seem to like it, so they shout out.
I saw him rapping in front of the Norwegian Symphony, and I said, I knew it's gotta be him.
In my lyrics, there will always be a reflection of me. I write my thoughts down, cause this right here, so I'm destined to be. Look.
And then at the interview, we got a bonus. He brought his brother, who's an engineering student. And talking to them was life-changing because their way of life in Norway, being Black men, is very different than being a Black man in America. We're in the Black Nordic Theater.
Can you believe it?
Coming from an island northwest of Norway where basically we were the only 2 Black people there, almost. And coming here and seeing this theater, you can just sit down and people are very welcoming and you really feel from the first day you step in here that now you're part of the family.
You know, if we were to lift you up and bring you to the United States, I would be so fearful for you, and you would be lumped in and grouped in these negative stereotypes that you are to be feared. What is your experience as Black men with the police here in Norway?
I've never had a bad experience with the police. I feel like it has a lot with our upbringing, like the police is the police and you respect the police and they will respect you back. And I know from how the situation is in the US that might be hard to keep that attitude, but I've always kept it and I've never...
I don't think the situation in the US is an attitude problem though.
No, but just like in Norway, you know, you talk to the police and they'll talk to you and everything will be fine.
But I really believe that is a consequence of the gun laws, though. Because the police don't carry arms here. As far as I know, they have a weapon in the car that's locked in, I believe. So if something happens, but they don't have it on them at all times. And that just, the end result is that not that many people get shot.
I immediately thought of my husband and my son. It's like, I wish they could have that level of peace.
Hit the lever, trying to get it all like the guy went off the wall. Before you learn to talk, you're gonna have to crawl. Back to basics, flip the script and get them all. Just get them all.
In my estimation as a Black woman, I'm feeling like in Norway, their race issues aren't the same. Here I am in the peace capital of the whole world, so they say. So I am doggone curious, what does Norway have to reconcile? I'm sitting in my hotel. The door opens, and like out of the universe, here comes the Sami woman in full dress. Her name was Marit. She's right in the front of everything related to this controversy. I found out what the Norwegians need to reconcile. Sure did.
The Sami people are the indigenous people of this land. In Norway, my people have been brutally assimilated. My brother is by law forced to slaughter his reindeers and only allowed having 75 reindeers for 5 years now. He's been fighting against the Norwegian government, and they're cutting my family heritage because my family has been reindeer herders since centuries, and we have always been reindeer herders.
So if I'm looking at you,
Yes.
how would I know that you are Sami? When folks look at me, they know that I'm Black. This doesn't go away. Discrimination will be very easy to happen to me. Looking at you, how would I know that you're Sami?
Well, I talk the Sami language, and when I talk Sami language, everyone will know. Also, when I put on my Sami clothing called kufte.
Kufte?
Yes, yes, and everyone will see that I am Sami.
I had a lot of emotions and really getting a deep understanding of what the Sami people are going through. And then the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. Being inside that room, it's even hard now to have words for that.
To go in the room, sit with Melannie, and to recognize that we were one of the few people of color there, to see the king and queen coming in, I was like, I am not watching this on television. I'm in the room. And to see all the dignitaries and people from many different countries. I actually took a picture with Amal Clooney. She was there.
Would you please step forward to receive your diploma and gold medal?
Extremely humbling, and mainly because of the people that were being honored and the work, the sacrifices that they have given for others in the face of their own danger, if you will.
أشكركم جداً على شرف هذا التكريم، لكن حقيقة ليس هناك أي جائزة في العالم يمكن أن تعيد لنا كرامتنا سوى تحقيق العدالة ومحاسبة المجرمين.
Seule la lutte contre l'impunité peut briser la spirale des violences. Et nous avons tous le pouvoir de changer le cours de l'histoire lorsque les convictions pour lesquelles nous nous battons sont justes.
I think both of us just realized how grateful we were to be seen and then to be honored with this gift. And I have got to do something with this responsibility. It's not just about being in the room, it's about what we take out of the room. Well, Jewel, I can't think of a better way to end our journey here in Norway than to be in the midst of 1,000 lights for peace.
All around us.
For peace.
All cultures coming together to say enough is enough. Isn't that what he said today?
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
And what they said to us and what we want to say to you is peace is now. Justice for all. Justice for all. And it's in our hands. This has been absolutely a wonderful adventure. So it's time for us, it's time for us to go. Peace.
Yeah, Tacoma's Peace Queen, Melannie Cunningham, is here. She's back from her once-in-a-lifetime trip. In the meantime, welcome back. This must have been an unbelievable trip for you.
It was a trip of a lifetime. I could only, just a dream.
To bring you an ITY. You just need you and I to bring you an ITY. Let me hear you say you and I, you and ITY. Oh, you and ITY. Wait a minute now.
Funding for Peace Queen was made possible by Multicare, Tacoma Arts Commission, Bamford Foundation, PLU Scandinavian Cultural Center, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.